I will lay down my life for the sheep. In today's gospel, we hear Jesus refer to himself as the Good Shepherd, and he tells us quite a bit about what that means in this passage. He tells us about the mutual recognition of shepherd and sheep, for instance, that interconnectivity between the two, which is actually a reflection of the mutual love between the Father and the Son. We also hear about the other sheep this shepherd has, indicating that Jesus' flock extends across the nations. It extends across space and across time. But also, very importantly, for this idea of the Good Shepherd, Jesus contrasts that role, the role of the Good Shepherd, with the role of the mere hired hand that tends the flock for another. You see, when the wolf comes, the hired hand is willing to leave the flock in order to save his own skin. By contrast, the Good Shepherd, who intimately loves the sheep that are his own, not someone else's property, is willing to lay down his life for his sheep. You see, Jesus is not just looking out for us as one who has a job to do. He desires our good out of genuine love for us, so much so that he's willing to die for us. This passage even reiterates a couple of times that Jesus willingly dies for us. So it indicates his willingness. You see, the passage serves not merely as a prediction of Jesus' passion, it actually tells us why he eventually does what he does. Jesus does this out of love. He dies for us because he knows us, he recognizes us, and he cares for us. Now, this is sometimes a difficult thing for us to fathom. We can sometimes think about Jesus' redemptive act of dying and rising again as something that happens to him, something passive. But John's gospel particularly consistently reminds us that Jesus willingly sacrifices himself for his people. Now, to use the example and the contrast that Jesus draws, it's one thing if the hired hand doesn't know the wolf is coming and ends up getting killed. But that same hired hand, seeing the wolf coming, abandons the flock in order to preserve himself. Now, it's quite another thing to realize that the Good Shepherd sees the wolf coming, sees the danger coming, and acts not in favor of self-preservation, but on behalf of those under his care. Now, with this image in mind, today let's take some time to reflect on the depth of God's love for us.